Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Hey Brittany. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about Kindles and Fire Tablet just because I've gotten some new fun gifts to play with. So let's talk about it. Alrighty, so I have my 30-minute timer going, so hopefully we can stick to 30 minutes for this video. If not, we can just extend the timer and keep going until we get it all covered. So the first thing I want to talk about is why I wanted a Kindle, or how I even got into Kindles in the first place. And so my first Kindle was a Kindle Fire 2011 or 2012, and technically it's a tablet, it's not the ink technology. I used to have a Sony reader that I got when I was playing college basketball as kind of like a tournament gift for what conference were we in? Maybe I don't even remember. Maybe CUSA or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, it was a gift, and I had never heard of a e-reader before. Maybe it was just starting to come out, the technology or whatever, and I did not like it because one, I didn't really know how to use it. I didn't know how to add books to it, and so I don't think I added very many books to it. And then also the e-ink is completely different from an LCD screen, and so that took some getting used to. So I do have that tablet. My sister has it. I used to have one and I have no idea where it is. I have no idea what happened to it, but she luckily still has hers in the box it came with, so I'm gonna go and grab that so that we can talk about it too. Okay, so I went and grabbed it, and so this is the box that it came in. So this is my sister's copy. Again, I have no idea what happened to mine, so I'm really happy that she still keeps stuff because I have a really bad habit of, for whatever reason, I want to clean up everything that I have or go through things, and then I'll just throw out things that I should actually be keeping. And so like not 2 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I went through my closet and got rid of a lot of college stuff that I should have kept, and I did that same thing maybe 15 years ago, and I got rid of a huge bulk of all of my college gear, like my sweatsuits, my sweatshirts, pants, and all of that stuff that I really should have kept. And my sister has all of that, and so I get super annoyed when I go and look in her closet, and she has everything, and I have like a fourth of the closet that I should have, probably like an eighth of the closet that I should have, but whatever. So she still kept this, so I'm really happy about that. And so let's go ahead and take it out. I did try and charge it, but it does not work without the charger, which is really crazy. But I do have it right here, and I could probably plug it in to see if this will come on. But it was just really crazy to see the technology because, one, this gave me a glimpse of what it would be like to get a, I guess, modern e-reader, specifically from Amazon, just to see how I would like it. So let me go ahead and plug this in and see if we can get this one plugged on for you guys. 1 second. Perfect. So I had to go and get an extension cord so that I could have this one plugged in, but also near me, and it just unplugged. 1 second. Okay, so I had to go and get an extension cord so I could turn this one on for you guys. You can see how this looks right now. This is a Sony e-reader, and if I go to books, it's probably a little yeah, it's, so you can see it's reloading, and you can see how the previous screen is stuck on it. That was the previous screen that was just on, so I don't know what it's doing now. Now we can see some movement. So this was really good to have because it allowed me, this was really good to have because it allowed me to see how the technology would work, and if I really want to buy a newer e-reader or e-ink technology e-reader, because when I was watching YouTube videos, I really did not like the way the pages transition. Like you would see a quick black screen and then it would go to like the next screen or whatever you were trying to pull up, and I really hated that because I felt like it just seems backward. It seems like we're going back to like older technology when we have modern technologies that should work better and differently. So it just felt like this was outdated technology. I didn't like it. So this actually still needs to be set up. So this, again, it looks exactly like what you would see on a Kindle. So that was pretty cool to come here and see this because I knew that I did not really use this very much. And after I got experience with this, because when I got this, I would have either had a BlackBerry or some type of LG phone, and you couldn't really read books on that. So this is why something like this would have been really helpful, and like maybe I would have gotten this in 2012 or whatever. So back then I did not have the Kindle app because I had a BlackBerry or LG phone, and then I did not have an iPhone until my second year at ECU, so that would have been maybe 2011, 2012. So this would have been helpful because one, I loved reading books and I was always buying physical copies of books. And the one thing that I really hate about that is I had this huge collection of books from my childhood home that I moved from. And as I just mentioned, I like to throw stuff away for whatever reason. And so when we had to pack up our house to move, I obviously took a lot of clothes that I wanted to keep that were kind of like on trend back then, but now they're super outdated, so I don't need it. But I did not take a lot of books with me, so the only books I really have are a few small books that I've either gotten recently, and for some reason I was smart and I kept my Harry Potter collection, which is super nice because I know that they reprint books, they remove stuff from books, and so that's why I hate having that I'm so addicted to Kindles now, because obviously you don't physically own the digital copy that you have on your Kindle, and then it's not the same as a book. They can't update the physical book that you have in your possession, but they can update your copy on the Kindle app. So that was something that I was not super excited about, especially since I left a huge collection. And whatever happened to it happened to it. And so I don't know how to get this to go to the next screen. I've selected Eastern. Oh, there we go. So you can see how it's defaulting to 2011. So it's not updating. So let me see if we can update this now. We're not going to see a whole lot on here, honestly, but I just want you guys to see that this is one of the tablets that I'm coming from. And what is today? Today is Today is June 9th. Okay, cool. And it is 11:04. So obviously you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get this updated time-wise. It's AM, so you can see I have the time and I have the date there. We're just gonna hit OK. And it goes. So I hate that technology. You saw that flicker? That's super annoying to me. And then there's just like 3 books or 5 books up here. So we're just gonna go to the Jungle Book, and then you can see kind of what it does, hopefully. Saw that, and then you can see that the ink is really faded, so I'm super interested in that. I wonder how that's gonna look when I have a really old Kindle. Like, is the ink gonna look like this to where it's faded? And books do look like that, so that's pretty cool, but it also makes me feel like the technology is not holding up like it's supposed to, because you wouldn't think that ink like this should fade, but I guess it does. And so you can see here, oh, I have to push this button for the transition. So I hate that black screen that you see as it moves, but this was really good for me to go digging through my sister's stuff to find it so that I honestly didn't know if she still had this, so I'm really glad that she did, because again, I've been obsessing over Kindles for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I've placed orders for Kindle, canceled it because I was like, no, you don't really need it, whatever. But I obviously really wanted this, and so I was happy that I had something in my possession, in my house, that I could play with to kind of see what this technology was up close and physically in my hand. So you have to manually press these buttons, and you can see like how it's changing. So I don't really like that whole black screen stuff, but again, this was helpful for me to see this, to see if I even like this, because I went to Best Buy yesterday and I really wanted to see the new Kindles in person. And it was really nice because they had the Fire 8 tablet on display, which is one of the devices that I've just gotten in the last 2 weeks. And then they also had the Paperwhite on display as well. So I got to see the size difference, because I know from Googling that there's a size difference, but it was just really nice to see it in person, because I do like the Fire 8, but it does feel a little bit heavy, and so I've been wanting something lighter. And this is super light. So again, you can read this one-handed, press the buttons, it's super light, it's not heavy. And one thing I want to bring up that I may forget to talk about later, so I'm just going to bring it up now. When I was in Best Buy with my sister, I was obsessing over the fact that the Kindle Basic matcha is the color that I got. The Kindle Basic, that's only like 5.5 ounces. My cell phone is maybe 7.94 ounces, and I was just freaking out over how light that Kindle Basic is. My sister was just like, okay. But she's not like as obsessed with the weight of a phone as I am, because excuse me, as I am, because I know how phones have transitioned from like the 4S, which is what I originally had. Then I had maybe the 5S, and then the 6 Plus, then the 7, and then I had, what did I have? I didn't get the 8, so I think I jumped from the 7 to the, whatchamacallit, the 10, 10 Max, 10X Max, and then the point is the weight of the phone has shifted over time, and so I would love to go back to a 6 Plus and have a super light device. Obviously, that's not going to happen, and so if I can find the lightest Kindle tablet, I think that would be the sweet spot for me, because I don't want anything that's heavier than my phone, because I feel like that's just, I'm not going to want to hold it long, because it's just going to feel heavy to me. And I do have a Fire 10 tablet that I'll talk about later that definitely is heavier than my phone, and that was what led me to wanting to look at different devices for e-readers. Okay, so we can go ahead and put this down, but this is really helpful to look at. Again, you can see how the font looks and everything, and we are going to move on. So once I had this device, I don't know what led me to get a Kindle Fire 2012, I think is the model, and I'm super annoyed. Let me just grab it really quickly. I'm super annoyed because I think maybe once I got the, so I love purple obviously, so you're gonna see another purple case, but I think that when I got my iPhone 6 Plus, I think that's probably when I really stopped using this, because we all know that you have the Kindle app, and I was definitely using the Kindle app on my 4S and my 5S, but it was a super small screen, and so I would have used this more. But once I got a bigger phone, there really was no need for this, and I didn't use it as much. And I'm super annoyed because for whatever reason, I didn't realize that there was I don't, obviously we know that technology is only good for so long, and after a certain period of time it stops getting updates. So this one stopped getting updates, and I don't know why, but I factory reset it, so it removed all of the existing books that I had up here, and there's like no books on here, and I can't get it connected back to my Amazon account, so that I can at least have some books on here if I want to read, because what I was saying before is that I already had the Fire 10 tablet. I've had that for 10 years, and I got it because I wanted a bigger screen for when I was working out, because my Peloton is in a different room and my mom works in that room, so I can't have the TV on super loud, and so I'm just staring at the Peloton, listening to music, and I want to watch something. And then also we have a treadmill. There's no TV in the room that we have the treadmill in, so I definitely knew that I wanted something bigger than my phone to watch whatever shows I wanted to catch up on. So I got the Fire 10 for that purpose, because the screen is huge and it's amazing. So I really love the Fire tablet for that purpose, but it doesn't work well for me and when it comes to wanting to read on a bigger device for a longer period of time, because I do have this style of case on it as well, so that adds weight to it, and then also it's a huge device, and so it's not as comfortable to hold. And so anyway, I really wish that I could get this one up and running again and connect it to my Amazon account, but as you can see, there's nothing really we can do here. I think we can go to web, but the browser is like kind of super slow and whatever. For some reason this keeps defaulting to Canada. I did have this connected earlier and I disconnected it, so let me just go ahead and connect it again so you can just see. But the keyboard is very smooth on this, which is what I'm very surprised by, because I was expecting it to not be as smooth, but there was a period of time, because I've turned this Kindle on and off about 20 times in the past week or so, and I've been factory resetting it or whatever, but there was an issue with the keyboard where there was phantom typing, and I would type one letter and then it would type like 5 other letters, and so that was frustrating. I had to turn it off, turn it back on, and that resolved the issue. But otherwise, everything seems to be pretty smooth, but it's just super frustrating that I can't get any books downloaded to this device. So you can see this is how the Kindle web page looks. Everything seems pretty functional, but there's just certain things that you can't do because it's not getting any more updates. So this is basically a useless device. I definitely love the size though. This is a 7-inch screen and this is perfect, but the only reason why I don't want to get the Fire 7 is because people say that you need at least 3 gigabytes for using the device smoothly. It should be fine if I'm just using it for an e-reader, but I'm just on the fence about that. But I would really love to have a small device as possible. So the Fire 7 definitely is an option, but I did not get that. Okay, so now let's talk about my Fire 10. So we have another purple case because I love purple. Actually, my favorite color is lavender, but not everything is in lavender. And I feel weird saying my favorite color is lavender, so I'll usually, and then obviously not everything comes in lavender, so I'll just get the closest color purple that I can find. I am picky about what color purple it is, so if it's not a shade that I like, I won't get it, and I'm okay with this shade and the other one. This is actually probably what most people would consider great. Whatever. I like the way it looks, so we got that. I do have ads on my Kindle. I actually really love the ads. So people talk about not liking the ads, but I really like seeing different books that I can potentially buy. That's my biggest thing that I love seeing whenever I turn this one on and just seeing what books I come across. Right now it's on an ad for a laptop, whatever, but I've been seeing some really good book covers that look amazing. And one of the things that I really like about this is that you do get to see the traditional LCD screen, but you also get a lot of colors, and then there's animation with some of the book covers. I really, really love seeing that because I don't often go through Kindle to see what kind of books I can buy, but I am signed up for something called Book Club, I think, and they basically just have a running list of books that are on discount that you can buy. So I'll definitely buy books that I like, and usually it's around like $2.99 depending on the book, and or $1.99, and I'll buy it. There's also a section, if you go into Amazon, you can search for Kindle free books, and that will pop up all of the books that are $0, so they're free basically. You still have to go through the process of buying it, but you don't get charged. And so I've been doing that probably for the last 10 years. I don't think I've bought any free books in a while, but I definitely have that on standby for when there's something that I want to read. Right now I do have Kindle Unlimited, so I am paying for the books that are part of Kindle Unlimited. But if I didn't have it, that is what I would do to find new books to read. So this is my Fire tablet. I recently changed the background because I love the way that this one looked on the Fire 8. So I switched to that, and the basketball icon, I don't know why it's there, but I am a basketball player, or I was a basketball player, and so I love seeing that there. Because it feels like it's personalized, even though it has nothing to do with me. So anyway, we're gonna go to the Kindle app. I really love this home screen, and this is the book that I'm currently reading, so this is a really, really good book. So you can see like how huge this looks, and one thing I didn't see people talking about when they were doing their Kindle videos, their Kindle unboxing, their Kindle reviews, and all of that stuff. One thing I really love when it comes to the screen size of your tablet is when you have the book open, I really love being able to see the formatting on the page. I love being able to see when there's indentions for when you start the first paragraph or whatever, or the next paragraph, whatever. And I just like seeing how everything is arranged. And then I also like seeing the paragraph. So when you have a smaller screen, you lose that visibility. And that's not something that I've seen people talk about a lot. You obviously would see that if you're reading like a traditional book. Like, let me just grab a Harry Potter book really quickly. 1 second. Okay, so I just grabbed a Harry Potter book. So this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So this is obviously a really old book. So you can see how dingy it is, but I'm happy that I still have this. And you can see how when you read a book, you can see the formatting on the page. So you can see the indentation, you can see like when there's a single line, you can see the paragraph. I really like having a screen that is big enough that it displays all of that, and that's super important to me. And as my iPhone got bigger, you could really see more of that. So let me just pull up my iPhone so that we can take a look at that as well. Okay, so I just grabbed my phone because I want to show you how like the formatting of the words on the page looks on a Kindle app on your iPhone. So the book I'm reading is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I'm 87% into the book, so it's that book right there. And we're just going to open it. So I love how the cover looks, and I love the color. And that's something that I may miss if I use a Kindle Basic, because I don't think I'm going to get a color soft, because why? But I really love how this looks on the iPhone. The only issue that I have with this is that it is very narrow. So yes, I see the formatting that I want to see, but it's just narrow and it's not as wide as a normal book would be. So that was something that I wanted to change. However, I'm very happy reading on my Kindle app on my iPhone because I always have this device with me and I can always read wherever I am as long as I have my phone. The thing that I'm running into now is that I feel like if I get another device, the Fire 10, I can't really do anything about that because I have it already and I have a specific purpose for it. But if I do keep the Fire 8 or the Kindle that I have, I feel like I have the pressure of making sure that I carry that with me, or I feel like I have to plan out when I'm going to use it because it is another device that I have to think about. So let's go ahead and transition to the Fire 8. Alrighty, so we have the Fire 8, if I can figure out which way I need to orientate it. So I like that you can see the cover, but for whatever reason it is really low, the brightness is low. So this is what I was talking about. So I think this is actually a book that I how do I get out of it? I think this is a book that I actually do have in my library to read. So I do like how it pops up different books that you can read and then it gets you interested and wanting to check these off suggestions out. And so that's something that I really like with the ads because there are a lot of books that I would not know about if I didn't see it popped up on my screen here. So let's go ahead and swipe open. So again, this is the background that I have on this device as well. I really love the screen size because it is smaller than the Fire 10 for sure. Let's grab the Fire 10. The Fire 10 is huge and heavy to hold. I do have a clear case on this one. I did not want the folio case for this one just because I knew that I was going to add extra weight to it. And usually I do not like using clear cases on a black device because I feel like it looks ugly. I was the type of person who always got the iPhone with the white front because I felt like that looked really good with the clear cases. So I typically do not get black devices and use a clear case. This device is actually gray, so it's not as bad. You can see the color a little bit, and then this is how I've been using it. So let's open up the Kindle app. So I do like how this looks, and this is the book that I'm currently reading. We're gonna skip to my most recently read page, and this, I really love this because again, it shows you the formatting of the words on the page, but it also is not like a screen that is oversized. It's like the perfect size screen right now. The only issues that I have with it is that I tried to read outside with this the other day and I could not see anything because of the glare, so that was awful. And so again, the whole thing of getting another device, I have to figure out when I'm going to use it. I feel like I have to plan it out, and then I have to make sure that wherever I want to read it, I can actually see when I'm reading it. So that's the only thing that bugs me about this, but otherwise, I really do like it. I did recently just turn on the blue shade so that it's warmer at night. I don't know, I don't dislike it. I've noticed difference for sure, and I think that I may continue to use that if I keep this device. But for the most part, I've been super happy with this device. It's lighter than the Fire 10 for sure. The Fire 10 I think is like 11 point maybe 98 ounces, and this is maybe 11 ounces. So, oh wait, no. I think the Fire 10 is like 15 ounces, and this is 11 ounces. Yeah, something like that. And so this is definitely lighter than the Fire 10, but it's still not quite. I feel unsettled or unhappy for some reason because I keep reading and watching Kindle YouTube videos online trying to figure out what it is that I want. And so I am happy with this device because I got this for $64. I think it's normally like $119 or something like that. So very cheap to get this compared to a Kindle, which is gonna start at $109, $159, and then up to $200 if you get the color soft. And so I am happy about this, but the one concern that I have with this is it's basically a smaller Fire 10, and it feels like I have two devices that do the same thing, and I don't want to not use the Fire 10 and feel like I'm wasting my money, even though I've had it for 2 years. I've got a lot of use out of it, and so that's just something that I'm concerned about with getting this Fire 8, because yes, it is closer to what I want in terms of a tablet that allows me to read on a bigger device, but for some reason I'm not quite happy. And so let's move on to the Kindle Basic Matcha. Alrighty, okay, so here is the Kindle Basic Matcha. So you can see the color, you can see the ad that is right there. This ad is super annoying. I don't really understand anything about how this Kindle works, so I'm still having to learn how to use it. But I'm annoyed that this just stays up there, and you can actually see the text in the background. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but you can see that in the background. But this ad has probably been on my phone for like the last on this device for maybe the last 20 minutes. I'm super annoyed because I just want it to have like a blank like white screen, like go to sleep. I haven't turned it off yet, but I can't figure out how to get it to just sleep and not display any ad because I'm worried about it kind of like imprinting on the screen. So that's super annoying. I have noticed that there does seem to get a lot of hair and stuff on the screen, which is kind of annoying. I don't have a screen protector yet and I don't have a case yet. In terms of holding this device, it was a little annoying to hold last night because it is much wider than my iPhone. So this is the Kindle, this is my phone. It is much wider, so I did have to adjust in terms of how to hold it. So I didn't know whether I should hold it like this or if I should hold it like this, but then I have to kind of wiggle and use two hands in order to move on to the next page. So I don't really know how to hold it yet. I'm hoping that a case makes a huge difference with that because I have a case on my Fire 8 and I think that has helped me with holding the device a little bit. So we are going to swipe to unlock and it goes to whatever I last had it on. So this is the same book before I let go. So I'm just gonna go home so that we can see the book that I'm reading. I'm not a huge fan of the black and white. I know that if I really want to see the colors on the cover, I can just scroll through the Kindle app on my phone or the Fire tablet and see that. But I do miss the color a little bit just because I'm so used to seeing it. And then I've never really tried swiping to kind of go through my different books, and I feel like this would be super annoying to kind of have to go through it this way because it's just so much faster on the Kindle app and you can see all of the colors and the covers and all of that stuff. And so I feel like on this device I have to search for the book that I want in order to my 30-minute timer is going off, so we're definitely going over 30 minutes. But I feel like I would prefer to swipe through my library on my phone than here because I feel like I'm just gonna get so annoyed, especially I think I have maybe 1,200 books on here. So let's just pull up the Kindle app on my phone. And so if I am scrolling through my library, see this just feels so much smoother. And I just really like this so much better than on the actual Kindle. So yeah, so you see all of the covers, all of the color is really pretty. So I'm obviously used to doing all of this, but I really just wish that the Kindle device was smoother like that because that is going to take some getting used to. So I probably will not search through my or scroll through my library like I normally would on my Kindle app. I'll probably just try searching for the book once I find it on my app first and then kind of come here and pull it up. So I'm not 100% sure how I like this device because I did have to figure out how to hold it, and then I did change the brightness a little bit. And one thing that I really love about this device is it really does look like you're looking at a page in a book. It doesn't look like you're looking at an LCD screen. And again, I really didn't see the difference until I went and saw a device in person, and that really clicked for me how different it was compared to an LCD screen. And so this has been okay to use. I haven't had any issues. So you can see that some of that formatting that I was talking about is not as clear with this. Obviously, if I change the size, it'll probably be a little bit more clear, like the structure and the formatting. So you do lose a little bit of that because the screen is smaller. This is a 6-inch screen, and then if you are making your font bigger, it's going to kind of not display how it would look if you were actually reading a book, as far as like the paragraphs and all of that. And so I've been going back and forth between a font size of 4 and 5. I think I had it on a 5, just because that was what felt more comfortable to me. But I did have a adjustment period with this because maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes of reading on this device, it felt like it hurt my eyes for some reason. And I think maybe it was because, one, I have not read a physical book in a really, really long time. If I read anything, it's going to be on my phone. So I'm definitely very used to reading on an LCD screen. I really do not read books like physical books anymore. And so I think it was just an adjustment to having to adjust to reading in a different way, because I'm pretty sure that if I were to go and read this Harry Potter book, the font looks crazy small and I have to make sure that there's a light on and all of that stuff. And so I feel like this would hurt my eyes reading a paper book, which is so interesting because I used to do this all the time. Like, I read books all the time when I was younger, and it just feels weird going back to like what it feels like to read a paper book versus reading off of an LCD screen. And so that was a big adjustment for me with the Kindle because it does look very different compared to the LCD screen. And there is kind of a weird glare on this that I don't necessarily like. Um, but anyway, one thing I want to point out is I'll add a video to the screen somewhere, but I actually took this outside to see what the glare from the sunlight was like, and you can definitely still see the screen. I'll add a picture of that as well. But there was some weirdness. I don't know how to scroll back to the chapter that I want to look at, but I will just add the video showing what I'm about to talk about. But as I was reading this, I was outside and I switched to the next page and I noticed that there was like a huge chunk. It actually looked like a URL or something like that, but I noticed that there was a huge chunk of text that didn't quite match what was there and what it was transitioning to. It's really weird, but when you see the video, you can see what I'm talking about. And I did not like that that happened, and I don't know how frequently that happens because again, I've never used this technology. But with this book, you can just see how smooth it is when you're switching pages and stuff like that. I think there was something there, right? Yeah. So with the chapter 40, you can see how it has that underlined text. Super annoying to see that because I don't know why it's happening, and I didn't know if I did something to cause that to happen because I did have my device out in the sunlight and I didn't know if it damaged it or anything like that, because I did not notice that last night when I was reading in normal room light. And so that's something that's super annoying to me because I don't know how often that's going to happen, and is that going to keep happening? Is it just because of this book? I'm not 100% sure, but that's definitely something that I noticed and I'm not really happy about it. So obviously I'm still deciding which device to use. Do I use this device? I do want to wait until I get a case to see if that changes how I feel about holding it. And again, I'm really just torn between the Fire 8 and the Kindle device because I've never actually had an actual Kindle device with the e-ink technology. So that is going to be an adjustment for me. And then I also have to factor in whether or not I want to carry it around with me, or how to handle feeling like I have to plan when I'm going to use it, because I'm so used to honestly just having my phone with me and making sure that if I have a moment to read, I can just literally go to the Kindle app, pull up my book, and start reading, and it's not a huge thing. I don't need to pull out a second device and start reading on it, you know what I mean? And so really I'm torn on what to do. I don't know if I should keep the Fire 8 or if I should keep the Kindle device. I also don't know if I should just return both and not deal with it anymore and just go back to reading on my phone. I know that my mom and my sister, they really think that, hey, you know, just use the Kindle app on your phone because that's what you've been doing for like the last, what, 20 years. So I don't really know what to do. I do know that I want to be a Kindle girly, whether that's the Kindle app or the Kindle device, I don't know, but we will figure that out. So, alrighty, so we are near the end of this video. I really just wanted to come on and do a quick video talking about my experiences with the Fire 8 tablet, then also with the Kindle Basic Matcha, and I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I really do think it is important how light and easy to carry this device is. It actually feels like a toy. It doesn't feel like, because I'm so used to carrying my iPhone, which is heavy, it's glass, and it's not plastic, so I feel like it's been a while since I've held a plastic feeling device, and so that will just take some getting used to. I am glad that I got this one because from the videos that I saw, people were talking about the differences between the Paperwhite and the Kindle Basic, and the Basic doesn't have the warm light and it's not waterproof, and then the Paperwhite has like a 6.8 or 7-inch screen, so it's definitely bigger and you can see more words on the screen basically with the bigger size screen. But a lot of people are talking about how light this is and how much they just prefer the smaller size. So between the Paperwhite and the Kindle Basic, I really wanted to start with this one, especially since I already had the Fire 8. I knew how it's not heavy like the Fire 10. It's definitely lighter, but it is heavier than my iPhone, and so there was just something that was still bugging me. So knowing that I already had the biggest of the biggest when it comes to tablets and phones, I really wanted to go with the smaller Kindle just to see what that difference felt like. And so I am happy that I got this to kind of test and play around with and see how I like it. I would definitely wait to see how it feels using the case with this and see if that makes a difference. And then if I keep it, I will definitely get a screen protector because I do have a screen protector on the Fire 8, just so that we can keep everything in good condition. So yeah, it was super helpful for me to watch a bunch of YouTube videos to get a sense of what I wanted to do as far as which device I wanted to get. I also, whichever one I keep, if I do keep one, I will probably add stickers to it because I did see a lot of videos where people are decorating their Kindles with stickers, and they definitely had a clear case to make everything visible. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to using these devices for a little bit more just to figure out what is working for me. One thing that people did not talk about is obviously the Kindle Basic, Paperwhite, are black and white devices. One difference that I did not see people talk about was like the highlighting. Let me actually dig into that now. So with this one, when you want to highlight something, I did not like how the weird brackets look because it doesn't look like that on the LCD screen. So that looks just weird and like older technology to me. But one thing that I didn't really understand was that I didn't know what it was gonna look like when you highlight, and it's just kind of like a gray highlight. So you can clearly see what you're highlighting something, but I do miss like having the colors to choose from because I usually do a blue highlight or a yellow highlight or maybe the orange one, but blue for sure. So I was really curious about how that would look on the screen because it's a black and white device, so how are they going to show that you highlighted something? And so there are some differences in terms of that, like with the features between the Fire 8, the Kindle app, and then also the Kindle app is on the Fire device, but just wanted to make it clear that I'm talking about 3 different devices right now: the Fire 8, my iPhone, and then the Kindle Basic. And so the features do work similarly between the Fire 8 and the iPhone, but it's very different on the Kindle Basic because of the e-ink technology. And so if you are someone who is using your iPhone or a tablet and you're thinking about getting a Kindle, you definitely want to do your research to look into how the features are different because that can impact your reading experience. Because one thing that I saw people talk about was they like having a Kindle device because they don't really have the distraction that they would have on, like, I guess their iPhone or their cell phone or the tablet. Yes, I do have notifications that pop up when I'm reading, but those are also important updates or notifications that I need to see. Kind of like maybe 20% of them are, the rest are nothing that I need to see. But I know that I can just turn do not disturb on if I really want to read with no distraction. So you do have things that you can do to make your reading experience better with your current device if you don't already have a Kindle. And so I am curious about why people decide to get Kindles, knowing that you can have everything on one device. Like, why do you want to walk around with like 5 different devices? Because I did see some videos where people are talking about how they have Kindles in like every room or something like that, and they have a car Kindle. I if I did not mind spending the money to do that, I would probably do that. But I also just like having one device because I would never have 2 cell phones. The last time I had 2 cell phones was back in high school because I had a LG phone and sidekicks were all the rage back then. And so sidekicks were only with T-Mobile, but then Sun something had them. And so my parents got my sister and I lines with Sun whatever, and so we were able to have sidekicks. I do have a sidekick. Let me show it to you. So again, this is a super old sidekick that I still have. This is either my sister's sidekick because I got rid of mine, or it's mine. I'm not 100% sure. But again, this was the last time that I had 2 cell phones. So I just feel weird about having 2 devices because right now, what my routine is, I use my phone for most things. I use my laptop when I want to watch something because I do sit in the living room with my sister, and a lot of times either I'll have a TV or she'll have it. And if she has the TV, I'll just watch whatever I'm watching on my laptop. And then if my laptop, for whatever reason, I will sometimes use my Fire 10 tablet instead of my laptop. I'm not 100% sure when I've had to do that, but like say if I want to watch something, 2 things or something like that, maybe I'll watch it on my laptop and then have something else on my Fire tablet. So I do have a rotation already of devices that I use between my phone, my laptop, and my Fire 10, and it just feels really weird to add another device into the mix, and I'm just not really sure which device that's going to be yet. But again, I hope this video was helpful. I did cover a lot of things that were important to me and some things that I felt like were not being talked about in the whole Kindle girly conversation. So I hope that I've added my 2 cents to this conversation, and hopefully it's helpful. If not, please let me know. But either way, feel free to share your comments about this video, and also let me know how you are liking your Kindles. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.